Hello, Tecumseh, you courageous bastion of decency. Welcome to the Tecumseh Bicentennial Podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin J Nichols, but you can call me Strawberry Thunder. Today, we'll meet Tecumseh's chocolatiers, Matt and Elizabeth of Harvest Chocolate. Krista Velandra shares today's T-Town tale titled Pool. We'll also meet Sluper Girl from Slooptopia, land of the Decibels, in the short adventure Sluper Girl vs. Decibel Dynamo. Our voice actors today are Ben Nichols, Emily Nichols, and special guest Amy Sloop. It is a good day for a good day, so let's get on with the show.
I'm Elizabeth. We are here at Harvest Chocolate in downtown Tecumseh.
This was to be my first time meeting Elizabeth.
And I'm Matt.
This was not my first time meeting Matt. We actually met a couple years ago when he worked at my bank. To my shame, I did not recognize him at first, although he knew me. He even remembered the nickname the bank employees gave me, and I am ashamed. Matt was gracious, though, and as the three of us talked, I did remember him. We share an appreciation for the ridiculous and comedic.
We make chocolate from bean to bar, so we source cocoa beans from different parts of the world, and we make chocolate completely from scratch. So we're not just melting chocolate down in a bowl and making products with it, we're actually making the chocolate. So chocolate can taste different based on where chocolate grows, how it's harvested, how we roast it, how we grind it, and that's really what we like to highlight with our chocolate.
And the other side of that is highlighting where the chocolate comes from and also any ingredients that we can get here locally as well. I'm supporting the farmers here in Tecumseh, as it's a long-standing farming community, as well as the farmers who grow our chocolate.
We like to find local ingredients that we think just taste really good with chocolate whenever we can. So in the summer, we get cherries from Traverse City, strawberries, and dry them. We try to incorporate that as much as we can.
As Elizabeth listed some of the special ingredients they use, I could not help but wonder what ingredients they might have used that might be considered a bit unusual, maybe even, dare I say, weird.
We try to keep it pretty not weird.
Because if it's too weird, then people aren't going to eat it.
Yeah, we want it to be approachable, and we want it to be for everyone. And we want people to say, oh my gosh, I want that right now.
I saw another chocolate maker actually, they just made a taco chocolate bar. So it's made with avocado and chilies, and I don't know if there's like cilantro in there also. And it's like, it sounds cool, but does that taste good? We don't normally go too crazy.
We call it the yum yum factor. You need that thing that's just delicious in it that makes people really want it and excited.
Makes you take a bite and go, that's good, rather than, ooh, what am I tasting? What is that? I don't know about that. Yeah.
I guess I'm thinking right now, probably the weirdest one is Urfa chili.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It's a chili from Turkey, and it is dried in the sun. So it gets really kind of like raisiny and sweet, but it still has some like really warming spice to it. And so we did that in a chocolate bar with cashew butter and cinnamon. Mm-hmm. So it was just this like nutty, warmy, fruity,
spicy,
that,
had a little bit of everything going on. I think what made it unique was people really aren't familiar with Urfa chilies. So they kind of looked at it and they're like, what's Urfa? What's that mean?
So how do a couple of chocolatiers in Tecumseh, Michigan identify a chili from Turkey as an ingredient with which to experiment? I mean, I didn't even know that Turkey had chilies. It turns out Matt and Elizabeth had lives before they opened Harvest Chocolate. Who knew? I know, it's crazy. Banking history aside, it surprised me too.
So before we got into chocolate and before I was in banking, we were chefs. So Elizabeth and I both have culinary degrees. She was on the pastry side. I was on the savory side. In the restaurants we were working at, Urfa chili was pretty common and has always been a favorite of mine. But it's for certain people. So certain people love it. And if you don't like spice, then it's probably not for you. And that's fine. We knew that going into it. But
now, this next question is going to seem silly to some of you. After all, chocolate has brought so much joy into the lives of so many trick-or-treaters, and it's brought comfort to those oppressed by sadness and For those fans of a certain bespectacled wizard, it has brought relief to anyone who's ever had a brush with one of the jailers of Azkaban. However, it was on my list, so, foolish or not, the question must be asked. Why pick chocolate for... It's hard to say seriously, okay. Why pick chocolate for a career?
Really, Elizabeth was the one who brought chocolate to us, so that's why I always kind of...
Well, I think our background in general brought it to us. Food's always been in our background. We were chefs, like we had mentioned. We worked in fine dining before this, so we really learned a lot of techniques with baking and cooking and how to use local ingredients, fresh ingredients, how to manipulate that. And so we worked all over the country, and we actually met in New York City, and we helped open a restaurant in Napa, California, and eventually brought Matt back to Michigan. Michigan's where I'm from. Matt's actually from New York. And started,
Western New York.
Yeah.
Not New York City.
But we started learning about chocolate. I actually worked for another chocolate maker for a couple of years. And the part I really love about chocolate is that it's an agricultural product. It starts growing on a tree in beautiful places around the world. And that to me is a really special part about chocolate, is telling everyone about where it comes from. It's not just candy that a lot of other chocolate might be.
I'd say I just like the craft of making chocolate and being able to work with the people in the chocolate industry. And there's a lot of great people that we get to work with day in and day out. And our customers too, who, love the product and love what we do. And, it's great to see them. And so that's really kind of what I think took out of those formative years is high quality products, and that there just should be more of them.
Today's T-Town Tale is from Krista Velandra, and it is titled Pool.
The old Joyce Andrews Memorial Pool, which was an outdoor pool, which is the only kind of pool to be. I lived my whole childhood there. Summer, Memorial Day, it would open, sun up to sundown, coldest freezing water in the morning. I would jump right in. Every swim lesson I could take, I took. Lifeguarding, I could take it, I took it. I was there every session. I think there were 3 sessions a day. I could probably remember the hours of each session if I really thought about it. Season passes, riding my bike up there fast and furious to get there to be first in line, to be the first in the pool, staying as long as I could to be the last one out. When they closed down the Joyce Andrews Memorial Pool, I literally cried for days and days because it was such an important part of my childhood. And the giant drain at the bottom of the pool was scary, and we would swim down there and scare ourselves. And there was a diving board. I learned how to dive. I learned how to survive an hour in the water in the middle, not being able to grab sides or anything and having to tread water. And we had to wear extra clothing. And so in lifeguarding, we had to feel what it was like to be stranded out in the water as best we could. And so we had to wear extra clothes as if we had fallen into the water. And then we had to calmly, over the course of the hour, stay afloat without exerting or exhausting ourselves, which is what typically leads to drowning. So we would learn all these techniques about treading water, and then we would have to take off pieces of clothing. And that you can blow up pieces of clothing and use them as flotation devices. It's temporary, it doesn't last. The air obviously comes out. All of our clothing is porous, and so everything goes out of it eventually, but for a temporary fix, you can do that. So I learned how to do that, and trying to explain how to do that to people, or to explain it to people. How to do that, they think you're absolutely wackadoodle, but it's true. I just learned so much there, and I met so many people there, and friends that I made that became childhood friends, that became adult friends, and
My mind could not let go of the yum factor that Matt mentioned. First, I thought, after Elizabeth and Matt make their first billion, they could open a theme park right here in town and call it the Yum Factory. which is awesome. I know. My second thought was, who determines the yum yum factor? Is that something that this entrepreneurial couple decides for themselves? Or do they seek outside counsel by cramming chocolate into people's faces?
We love cramming chocolate in people's face.
You have to, yeah.
So we try to get a piece of chocolate in somebody's face, really, if they come in the door.
I feel like that's a part of chocolate, is sharing it with people, getting other people's reaction. Chocolate makes people happy, so the best way of sharing it, that's the best thing to do with it.
It's grown from a fruit.
When done right, yeah, it's healthy.
And if, this is Meyer, it would be a fruit salad.
I love learning about the things that inspire and motivate people. Discovering what gives someone the impulse to just step out without a net and just try is often inspiring in itself. There is something precious about the simple truths that give our lives meaning and joy, even if it's found in places that I never wander.
Travel inspires us, me, and I think really related to Harvest Chocolate is traveling to the places where cacao grows. So a year ago, we were in Hawaii, actually, and we were part of the harvest. So that's what we're named after. So to actually go and, cut the pods from the trees and ferment them and dry them and really just be in the field with the farmers and the producers and see what they go through. That's inspiring to me for sure.
I'd say for me, I'm inspired by running a business in a small, more rural town. I think it's fun, it's challenging in a good way. And one thing we've done from the very beginning is really try to utilize online, utilize multiple channels so that we aren't just tied to getting people to walk in the door. We can make money and sell our product in other ways, which helps us exist and be here. Maybe it wouldn't survive just on its own. I don't know. It just helps build a little more of a stable business, and it'll help the community and the people of Tecumseh and the other businesses. I mean, we got a good block here. It's pretty easy sell to be like, you can go this way and get delicious bread and beer. And if you go the other way, there's delicious wine and cheese and tea and Mexican and donuts. And
I think it allows us to connect with people in different ways. So here locally, we open our doors, and if we have cocoa beans roasting, people get to smell how great that smells. And so you get to have that experience in person with people who live here locally, or maybe they traveled from Ann Arbor or somewhere else. But then also we reach people throughout the country. If someone here in Tecumseh wants to send a gift to their relative in California, well, they get to have that arrive to their doorstep, and that's a fun experience too.
And they get to tell the story of there's, this chocolate shop in Tecumseh.
This is my town. This is a local business that I like to go to. And here, I want to share it with you over in California or wherever.
You're a liar.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
All right, you crazy kids, it's time for that super swell game, 2 truths and a lie. You're given 3 facts, 2 of them are true, 1 of them is a lie. Spot the lie, vote online. We'll let you know what the answer is tomorrow.
What is the truth?
You can't handle the truth. Everybody cheer. It's time to play 2 truths and a lie.
Tell me the truth.
We once were part of the team that made dinner and dessert for Barack Obama.
And I once cooked for Elton John.
And the building where Harvest Chocolate is currently located has been a chocolate or ice cream business for the last 40 years.
Well, Tecumseh, which one is the lie? Is it Elizabeth and Matt helping make dinner for Barack Obama? Is it Matt cooking for Elton John? Or is it the 40-year history of the building? Let us know in the polls. You can vote on Spotify or at sdgcreative.net/TB podcast. That's TB for Tecumseh Bicentennial. And click the Harvest Chocolate link. We'll let you know tomorrow how you voted and what the answer is. Speaking of the building, there is something else interesting about it.
The building here is supposedly haunted. We've had mediums come in and do some readings, and they've seen people dancing in the back room. The bathroom supposedly has a lot of activity. Things sometimes move, although I haven't personally seen anything, but I just want them to know that we're friendly and we hope that they're friendly ghosts and we like them here.
And the idea of people dancing in the back is just really cute to me. Ghosts dancing in the back. Like, hey.
We hadn't been upstairs yet. And on the third floor, there's like a 2-story ballroom. So maybe that dancing story is true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I honestly love the responses that Matt and Elizabeth gave when I asked them what their hopes are for the future with Harvest Chocolate. They received no coaching and managed to articulate some of the best qualities not just of their own perspectives and attitudes, but of Tecumseh as well. But I also have to confess I was a little disappointed to not hear chocolate theme park or Yum Yum Factory in my future. But you know what? I am relentlessly optimistic.
Having a sustainable business that supports our life and having, a good quality of life here in Tecumseh and having a place that people at Tecumseh enjoy and like to spend time at.
There's a lot of great businesses that exist down here, and it's just exciting to be able to be a part of that, to be contributing to something cool in downtown Tecumseh. That's a great feeling.
Feels like we're just kind of caretakers, as we're talking to the bicentennials here, and it just feels like we're just here for a little while with this building and this space and this city, and hopefully we can leave it a little better than we got it.
An essential question for virtually every interview I've ever given is some form of what is your superpower? The couple did not disappoint, although they were supposed to be pretend superpowers, not real ones. And you'll probably recognize the last one on the list. It definitely exists. I mean, I make use of it every single Christmas.
Clairvoyance. If we could just, totally understand what everybody wants and needs and just, we could just do that, that would be easy. I also think superhuman strength would be great. I didn't know that getting into chocolate making is basically just really lifting heavy things a lot. It weighs
so maybe
a lot.
Flying would be cool, because then you could have those heavy bags and fly with it also.
And then understand what everybody's thinking while I'm flying. And two, just you start getting older and you can only eat so much chocolate. But if that superpower of just being able to eat an unlimited amount of chocolate, that would be...
So as we chatted, the discussion turned to fun facts about Tecumseh. Facts is a hard word to say, because if you just say facts, it sounds like facts, like F-A-X, like facsimile, like I'm going to fax you a picture of a horse. And I don't want a picture of a horse, I want a fact, but I want plural facts. Facts. As we chatted, the discussion turned to fun facts about Tecumseh. I told them that they could not use Don Juan because that's already been taken a few times over. And if you don't know what that means, then boy, do I have a treat for you, because on July 21st at 3 p.m. at the TCA, the WTCA radio show, live on stage, will in fact give you several details about Don Juan. So anyway, I'm not saying that we explored interesting facts about Tecumseh on Matt's phone, because that would be cheating. I'm also not saying that we did not, because we totally did, but I wouldn't say so don't ask. So, Matt, do you know any fun facts about Tecumseh?
So, fun fact about Tecumseh that I happen to know in my brain with all of the other random pieces of information is that when Tecumseh became a city in 1824, it was actually 10 years before Michigan became a state.
As we're preparing to celebrate 200 years of a community this July 18th through the 21st, it's important to look ahead as well as behind. What hopes do Tecumseh's chocolatiers have for the future of our fair city?
My hope is that local businesses can continue to be celebrated. Shopping locally is a big deal, and I think a lot of people are bringing great talents to their businesses, and it's really exciting to see. So I hope that can just continue to evolve and grow and be exciting.
So my hope for the future of Tecumseh is that we can figure out how to build a chocolate river.
Yes!
I don't know how.
Build the Yum Yum Factory!
There's some engineering complexities there.
Which will be handled by the engineers of the Yum Yum Factory.
Also, safety of the children will have to be number one priority. We can't have anyone falling in.
Oh, my heart is full. I mean, Chocolate River basically screams Yum Yum Factory chocolate theme park, right? Right? Yeah, I agree. You're very smart. So, Tecumseh, as you think about the people 100 years from now preparing to celebrate their own milestone anniversary, what message or thought or advice would you share with them? Let us know in the comments. I asked the same question of Elizabeth and Matt.
Keep it going. Maybe in another few hundred years, it'll be like a European town, we're like, oh, this thing's 1,000 years old, and this building's been here this whole time.
There's a brand new superhero in town. I guess not brand new. I mean, she's been around for a minute or two. But Sluper Girl is taking over Tecumseh by storm. Sluper Girl of Slooptopia, land of the Decibels. And here is her first adventure. Mild-mannered Amy Sloop is a tiny, mousy, insecure...
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm narrating...
With your mouth full? What are you eating?
Falafel from Peter Delight. It's so good.
You know what? No. Put the falafel down and do it right.
Mild-mannered Amy Sloop is the tiny, mousy, insecure director of the Tecumseh Center for the Arts. What's so funny?
Well, you obviously got the wrong script. Whoever wrote that trash has never met Amy Sloop. She may be small in stature, but she makes up for it in presence. There is nothing mousy or insecure about her. Plus, she has a secret.
All right, I'll bite. And not just because I'm hungry. What secret?
She's Sluper Girl.
Nope, I don't believe you.
Yep.
You're trying to tell me that Amy Sloop of the TCA is Sluper Girl of Slooptopia, land of the Decibels.
That's right. In fact, she just had a colossal battle last night with the Decibel Dynamo. It was crazy.
I'm intrigued. Do you have any proof?
Okay. You put down that falafel and I'll tell you. It started after a ridiculous number of people listened to that first couple of episodes of the Tecumseh Bicentennial Podcast. In episode 2, Amy outs herself as Supergirl. What she didn't know was that the podcast had immediately gained a lot of traction, not only in Tecumseh, but Slooptopia as well, and pretty much all the surrounding area. Well, and of course, since everybody was listening, her arch nemesis, the Decibel Dynamo, was listening just like everyone else.
Ah, Mrs. Sloop, darling of the voiceover scene, director of the TCA, dilettante of the live theater, the one and only Amy Sloop, or should I say, Sluper Girl?
Dilettante? That's not very nice, strange person with the spectacular wardrobe. Does Elton John know you stole his clothes? I'm sorry, that was impolite. No, sorry, mister. My name is Amy Sloop. Who is this Sluper Girl you're referring to, though? She sounds fantastic.
Don't play dumb with me. I heard your little interview on the podcast this morning. It was actually quite beautiful in places. I found it it's very touching.
Aw, thank you. That's very kind.
But warm feelings and heartfelt interviews are not going to save you today, Sluper Girl. Prepare to be destroyed.
So the Decibel Dynamo unleashed like this barrage of amplified noises that I can't safely reproduce. Every time I've tried, anyone within 100 feet immediately vomits. Let's just say it was bad. And Amy found herself flying through the air in a manner that was both impressive as well as undignified. She crashed against the artwork on the TCA's north fence, one of the fences with the artwork, and she was like stuck on the ground. She was in bad shape.
Oh no, not the fence.
Yeah, I really like the artwork too. It's some of my favorite works Tecumseh has. But anyway, it was a cowardly attack, and Amy, being mortal as she was, stood no chance against it. So even though she fell hard as Amy Sloop, she stood up as Sluper Girl, lass of loudness, advocate of amplitude, and conqueror of the acoustic blanket army of Alpha Absorbitron.
You done messed up, Dynamo. It's one thing to cause trouble in Slooptopia, but now you've crossed a line you should not have crossed.
feel my wrath. Suddenly, Seymour, he purified me with sweet understanding.
Sluper Girl let loose a chorus of Suddenly Seymour that brought out the Dynamo to his knees. Not so easily vanquished, though. The Decibel Dynamo hit Sluper Girl with a low blow. It was tacky.
The TCA stands for the Civic Auditorium.
Stop. It's too much. I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm sorry. Did you think that would hurt me? I know it's an uphill battle, but it doesn't matter because whatever it's called, as long as I'm here, the Tecumseh Center for the Arts will always be a bastion for excellent performing arts and really cool stuff. You can't stop a freight train by calling it Hot Wheels, Dynamo. And you can't stop the TCA from flourishing by calling it the wrong name. But since you want to play mind games, prepare to cry.
So then Sluper Girl used her karaoke weapon, the Sluper Sing-Along.
Wait,
What?
what is the Sluper sing-along?
Oh, it's really great. It's like karaoke, but on roids. Sluper Girl uses it to trigger all the feel-good vibes you can get from singing along with a bunch of other people, and it makes her enemies not want to fight anymore.
Wow, that's actually a pretty solid superpower. I mean, if it works.
Hey, are you going to let me finish or what? You telling the story now, or am I?
Sorry to slow you down. Please continue.
The Decibel Dynamo did his best to resist the power of the Sluper sing-along, but found his resistance crumbling.
What are you doing here? Why do I feel like I should be singing along? What's going on? What is it you're doing to me, Sluper Girl? Stop it. Stop it. I don't like it. Stop. Why are you doing this? It's like, I don't want to sing along. I don't want to sing along. What is this catchy tune? And why am I getting visions of raisins dancing together? It's amazing. I'm not going to sing along. It kind of hurts, but like awesomely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to stay strong because my mom says I'm really strong, so I'm going to be really strong.
Then Sluper Girl unleashed her final attack. Elvis.
A little less conversation,
Elvis
a little more action.
I'm not allowed to sing that.
The Decibel Dynamo was helpless. No one
in
can
me.
resist the king.
A little more bite, a little less bark, a little less fight, and a little more spark. Shut your mouth and open up your heart, and baby, satisfy me. Satisfy me.
Thank you very much. What just came over me? What just happened? That's not okay. What did you do? This is witchcraft.
I know.
It's just you're so loud.
Yes, well, it is my superpower.
But I want to be loud.
Aw, hey, stop that now. You are loud. It's just that when you're loud, it hurts people because you're really bad.
I know.
Shoo. Stop all this carrying on, okay? Just stop being horrible and go home.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Sluper Girl. I take back most of the mean things that I say about you in Slooptopia.
That's a good start, Dynamo. I'm proud of you.
But it really will always be the Civic Auditorium.
Oh, shush. Eventually, people will embrace the name change, and everyone will be proud to invite their friends to the Tecumseh Center for the Arts for excellent entertainment. For instance, the WTCA radio show that will be live on stage on July 21st at 3 p.m. But you, Dynamo, will not be invited because you don't know how to behave in polite society. Now go home before I have you arrested for disturbing the peace and assault with malicious intent to do harm.
But I'm sorry.
I know you're sorry, and someday maybe you'll apologize.
And so another day is saved, another villain is conquered, and Sluper Girl enters the TCA as dynamic director and fearless leader of the arts, Amy Sloop, director of the TCA.
So that's it then? That's a no on the proof?
Shut up and finish your falafel.
Well, Tecumseh, you are lovely, and that is going to do it for today. I hope you had a good time. Let me know. Tell us in the comments. Was it a good time? I feel like it was a good time. And remember, the best way to tell everybody that you love them is to share this podcast with them. So until tomorrow, this is Benjamin J Nichols or Strawberry Thunder. And we'll talk tomorrow. Okay.